Welcome back guys to another video, and today we're going to talk about IoTeX and QuarkChain. And I believe that those two coins or tokens are just complete scams, and they're actually a pretty smart way to do a scam. And they are pretty similar, and they will both probably end up just dead coins or something like that. So the first coin we're going to take a look at, and I'm going to explain you why I think it is a scam, and it is highly unlikely that this coin will ever do something that it claims that it will do, because they have been changing even the white paper. In the beginning it was 1 million transactions per second claimed, and then they just changed it to 100,000 transactions per second, and now they cannot even do that, and most likely they will actually not even do 10,000 transactions per second. So first let's take a look at this QuarkChain, and you can see that total supply is 10 billion QuarkChain coins, and the daily volume is actually huge right now. It is $30 million per 24 hours. You cannot see market cap and you cannot see circulating supply, and I'm going to explain you why is that happening. So the first red flag that this coin has is actually got listed a few days after the ICO ended on Binance and KuCoin almost at the same time, and just a few days after the ICO ended, and this skyrocketed the price. You can see over here that the maximum was 34 cents per one coin, and now it dropped to about 19 cents per one coin, so almost 50% loss already. And this jump over here was just because of a Binance listing which pumped this coin hugely, and at some point market cap of this coin was at $2 billion. So $2 billion just a few days after the ICO ended. And if you want to see details about this ICO, you can see it right here on icodrops.com. And they collected $20 million, and then they just jumped to almost $2 billion a few days after the ICO. So a 100 times increase in price. But how could they even do this? Is this coin great? What does this coin do? And if you want to know more about it, just continue watching this video, and you are going to see why this coin is such a huge scam. So if you scroll down over here, you can see that they had 20% of the available tokens for sale. And when some ICO usually launches, they sell 60, 70, or even up to like 80% of the tokens in ICO, and they leave 20% of the tokens for the developers, for marketing, for listing on exchanges, and things like that. And they are usually locked for like 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, so they cannot just scam people and sell their own coins, because their coins are locked and they are not. You cannot sell them; they are not worth anything until they are unlocked. But coins like QuarkChain and IoTeX do it pretty smartly. So they sold only 20% of those tokens, and they left 80% for themselves. But this wouldn't be the only reason for the pump, because 20% is still quite a big amount of coins to go 100 times X. The way they did it is they actually sold only few percent to the investors, and they sold something like 16 to 17% to the private investors, which you don't know who they are. And it could be actually true that they only sold 3% and not 20% to the investors. They just claimed this 17% for themselves. And even Binance noticed that, and they said that only 3.61% over here of total supply was circulating at this very moment. So in this chart that Binance published, you can see that every month the circulating supply will be increased a little by little until it hits at the end of 2018 23% of the total tokens. And Binance said that it is high risk trading, because with only 3.61% of tokens released, the price will skyrocket artificially. So imagine that you are running an ICO and you have 1000 tokens in your ICO, but you only sell one token out of those 1000, and you leave 999 tokens for yourself. And you collect $1 million for this one token. And people will think, well, ICO that only needs $1 million, that is not so much, but you actually paid $1 million for one token, and since the developer has 999 tokens, you made them almost $1 billion. And then they're just going to sell those coins that they have little by little until the coin dies, and they made 100 times more money than they would just make by doing a normal ICO. And the only thing it is going to happen right here, you can see that coin is just losing value every single hour or almost every single minute, little by little, and this coin will not be worth anything in a few months, because the same thing actually happened to IoTeX. So IoTeX, if you scroll down, sold 24% of the tokens only in ICO, and they had 76% of the tokens for themselves. And they collected $14 million and 25,000 that you can see right here out of those 24% of the tokens. So their own coin value was almost $100 million after this sale. And this is just a scam, people. This is complete scam that they are doing. And I know it is not illegal to do it that way, but when you continue to hold 80 or 90% of the tokens after the ICO and you just sell a few percent of those tokens, what else are you doing than scamming people? And everybody that doesn't notice that you're selling only 3% of those tokens instead of something like 80%, and then it buys into your token, it's going to get scammed. Everybody who does that is going to get scammed at some point. So over here we're going to take a look at IoTeX. And after the huge exchange listing, you can see that the price went from 3 cents to something like 8 cents. And after that, the developers just started selling coins little by little, and they are doing it really smart. They don't want to crash the coin something like 10-20% per day. You can see that they are only bleeding the coin out like 1 to 2% per day, and eventually this coin is going to be worth nothing. It's going to hit like 1 cent or half a cent, and it's going to go from $52 million market cap to maybe like $10 or $5 million market cap, which will be less than they collected in the ICO stage. So the maximum this coin was worth was something like $80 million, and before the huge exchange listing it was $36 million, and now it is at $52 million. So soon they are going to sell all of those coins, and they're going to leave all of those holders of their tokens empty-handed and without any fiat or without any Bitcoin to trade in for. So hopefully I explained those two scams a little bit better to you, and they just seem to be happening more and more recently, because it is a very smart way to do it. You just sell 1% of your tokens instead of 80% of your tokens, and then you control 99% of the total token supply, and you can make 100 times more money than with ICO. And they're getting really greedy. $10 or $20 million is not enough for them anymore. They want hundreds of millions of dollars, and their token, QuarkChain token, was actually worth $2 billion at the highest point over here, which is completely insane, because with $2 billion they would be listed just above the Binance coin, which is huge, $1.9 billion, and below VeChain, NEM, Tether, and Dash. Now imagine the coin a few days after ICO be worth more than the exchange coin that they have listed on a few days after ICO. This is completely insane, and the Binance should take care of that a little bit better, because I know that they get paid a few $1,000,000 for one coin listing, and it is not so much work for them to do, but they should take care of the people that are trading there and that are actually making them hundreds of thousands of dollars, because some big players trade millions of dollars there, and not just to list some scam coin where everybody will lose hope in cryptocurrencies and will stop trading on Binance. Because imagine if you bought $10,000 worth of QuarkChain and you didn't see this Binance high risk notice that they did, you would lost almost all of that money, and you would probably never trade on Binance again. So thank you guys for watching this video. Let me know if you are aware of some more scams that are doing this same thing, where they sell only a few percent of the tokens in ICO and leave everything else for themselves. See you soon in another one, and bye.